Hello, this is Freethought Forum, a program by the Atheist Society of Knoxville and the Rationalist of East Tennessee. I am Shara.
And I am Jonas Holdeman. And we want you to know that if you don't believe in God, you're not alone, even in East Tennessee. Today we're going to speak to you about the secular alternative to Vacation Bible School, Camp Quest of the Smoky Mountains.
While we go over a few announcements, we invite you to think about calling in later. Our number is 215-2288.
Okay, and we would like you to call in the second half of the show so we have an opportunity to explain about Camp Quest. Happy Hour with the Atheist Society of Knoxville. Meet at Barley's tonight after the show for food, drink, and conversation. Meet up Wednesday, December 9th, Cairo Cafe for more of the same. Look for the silver-jacketed copy of The God Delusion standing upright on the table.
And on December the 12th, the Skeptic Book Club of the Rationalist of East Tennessee will be reviewing The Godless Constitution by Kramnik and Moore. This will be at 4 p.m. at the Barnes & Noble on Kingston Pike, and you do not need to have read the book to attend. On December the 18th, RET will be having its annual solstice party where we celebrate the inevitable return to longer days. Solar mechanics, 'tis the reason for the season. Visit our websites for times and locations.
Do you have out-of-town friends who might watch our program or might want to watch our program? Now they can. Go online at ctvknox.org.
Okay. Today we want to talk to you about a local secular alternative to Vacation Bible School, an organization known as Camp Quest of the Smoky Mountains, sponsored by the Rationalist of East Tennessee. Jonas, could you tell us exactly what Camp Quest is and for what purpose it was started?
Well, Camp Quest was started back in 1996 by a group from the interest group at Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. It was a time when the Boy Scouts of America were kind of cracking down on their belief, on their requirement that Scouts believe in God and profess that belief. And so this group was looking for a secular alternative. And so they organized a camp, and it started, the first 2 years it was held in Boone County, Kentucky, and thereafter it was moved into Ohio. Now in 2002, Camp Quest of the Smoky Mountains was started. It was the first alternate camp for Camp Quest, and within a few years there were 6 Camp Quests around the country. So our purpose of being there is for children of parents of who are secular, non-believers, atheists, agnostics, or whatever, to have a place where the children could go and be able to discuss their beliefs free of pressure from other kids and parents.
Very good. Well, you've answered some of my further questions, Jonas. You've already told us when it began here in East Tennessee, which was 2002, and how it started. And my final portion of that is, and who manages it today?
Wow!
That happens to be you. Well, Jonas, how did you get involved with Camp Quest?
Oh, that's an interesting
story. A long
story. The camp was actually started by Alita Ledendecker from Knoxville, or south of the river, and Edwin Kagan, who was one who managed the Camp Quest in Ohio for the first few years, came down, and the two of them started Camp Quest. Then in 2007, due to some medical problems, the Alida could no longer continue to serve as director and be away for the time it took. And so there was no one to take over, and the camp in 2007 got canceled. And I said, well, you know, in that event, perhaps I don't know anything about it, but we'll give it a try. And so it was at that point that I stepped in, and our camps resumed in 2008.
Very good. You stepped up to the plate when needed. That's great. Could you just briefly explain to us the principles of the camp, and if all the children who attend, are they all atheist or some of them secular humanist?
Well, the camp is based on humanist principles, and perhaps most of the kids, well, in fact, the philosophy of the camp is that these are children, and their belief system has yet to develop. And so we don't regard them as atheists, although many of them do regard themselves that way. Basically, we're trying to encourage free thinking, rational thought, so we don't engage in any kind of indoctrination. Now, we have had people who are more traditional religious beliefs ask about Camp Quest, and this is what we can say. We can say we have no test, no requirements regarding the religious belief of the children who are involved or of their parents. However, our camp is conducted under some of the principles of humanism, and we require that the parents read and state that they have read and understand these are the principles under which the camp is conducted. They don't have to...
So that's given to every parent who sends their child. They get to see this in advance.
It's part of the application package.
Okay, good.
And they don't have to believe or accept these, but simply to acknowledge that these are the
principles that the camp operates on.
Yeah. Now these principles are very general, and I think that practically anyone, any moral person, would be able to accept these. For instance, we believe in an open and pluralistic society, and that democracy is the best guarantee of protecting human rights from authoritarian elites and repressive majorities. We're concerned with securing justice and fairness in society and with eliminating discrimination and intolerance. We want to protect and enhance the earth, to preserve it for future generations, and to avoid inflicting needless suffering on other species. We believe in the cultivation of moral excellence. We are deeply concerned with the moral education of our children, and we want to nourish reason and compassion. So these are, I think, some ideals that most people would find acceptable.
Certainly. It sounds like even people who were involved with the traditional religious organizations in this area would have no problem with these moral principles.
Yes, although we call ourselves secular humanists, there are non-secular, theistic humanists who subscribe to very similar principles. Actually, if you read these statements of principles and values, there's no reference to believing in God or existence of God or anything like that. There may be some insinuations, perhaps, but it's really fairly general.
But it's a way of letting the parents know that we will not be indoctrinating their children about a belief or non-belief in a God, that we're simply basing them on general moral principles that even religious people would agree with.
Yeah. The only thing I caution parents is that understand that the reason for the camp is to provide a place where children can discuss their beliefs free of disapproval of other adults and so on. And so if their child has been raised in a narrow, strict religious environment, they might find it uncomfortable. But if they have been exposed to a variety of belief systems, then regardless of what they believe, they should be able to fit in very nicely.
Very good, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about the geography of where these children come from, who come here to the Smoky Mountains. What areas of the country do they come from? And on average, how many children from the Knoxville area attend?
Oh, that's
a
changing situation. Since I've taken over and really pressed an increase in participation development, the numbers have increased considerably.
Good.
The children last season came from 10 different states.
Wow.
From say the furthest away, what might be Illinois, 2 from Illinois.
Good.
Pennsylvania, North and South Carolina, and Louisiana, and perhaps the minority of them come from Tennessee. And in fact, up until this past year, there was only 1 from the Knoxville area. But this past summer, we had 5. And we hope to increase that number. The total number we had was 25 plus 10 counselors.
Wow.
So a total of 35 participants.
Very good. Well, we're hoping that some parents and grandparents will call in to learn more about Camp Quest today. Our telephone number is 215-2288. If you are a parent or a grandparent who is interested in summer camps for children, please give us a call. Now we'll explain more about some of the camp's actual activities.
Okay, this might be a good opportunity for Sam to roll some of the video clips that we brought in today.
Some lovely videos.
And so, yeah, okay, this past year I introduced the theme for the camp of friendship, adventure, leadership, and service. And so if you watch when the camp starts and the kids start arriving, there's great excitement greeting old friends from the previous year. And that friendship is a very important aspect from the children's viewpoint. Adventure, well, we have a lot of adventurous activities, which I'll get to in a moment. Leadership, we have a program called the Counselor in Training. This is for children, the older children, where they assume some of the responsibilities of the counselors, but still recognizing that they are campers primarily. And in the service area, we always have to try to have a little service project to enhance the quality of the facilities there. Adventure, well, we do hiking in the wilderness and always on the lookout for black bears. And we've done horseback riding, and last summer we did canoeing. We do nature studies, looking for salamanders, and we have games out. There's an athletic field, and I haven't mentioned where this is held, and I don't want to steal your question. But when you're ready, I will tell you just...
Go ahead and tell us now. It's in the Great Smoky Mountains. We know that much, but where in the Great Smoky Mountains?
Our camp is held at Tremont in the Great Smoky Mountains, which is perhaps most of you know is kind of south and east of Maryville, Merville. as it's known locally.
As locals would say, yes.
And it's Tremont was established, was originally a Girl Scout camp, and then after that there was a Job Corps program that was established there, and facilities were built. And when the Job Corps was phased out, the facilities eventually, the management fell to the Great Smoky Mountain Institute at Tremont, and they have a wonderful facility there, and I'm sure that many of your school children have been there. Mine went there.
Yes.
But ours is an independent program, but using their facilities.
That's a very nice facility. Well, I see that our program is almost half over, so I'm going to ask for callers again. We'd love to answer any questions you may have about this special summer camp for kids. Just call us at 215-2288. Now, let's go back up and ask, is Camp Quest listed in any local media regarding summer camps for kids?
Yes, that's part of perhaps a larger question, is how do people find out about Camp Quest?
That's a good larger question.
And when I took over as director, that was something that puzzled me for well over a year. But locally, we are listed in the summer camp guide that's put out by the Knoxville News Sentinel, and in the past year or so has been organized by Knox Moms. I think, and so we expect to be listed in there again, but I think that I will attempt to participate in the camp fair that Knox Moms started last year for the first time.
That's a new event, and it looked very interesting because they go and get to hear about all these different kinds of camps.
Yes, and it's last spring, it was held in conjunction with the women's
auxiliary, or we probably have the wrong terminology there, but it's related to Knox Moms, right?
Now, I was quite interested to visit the camp fair there, and we are not alone in providing secular camps.
Yes.
I mean, there are other probably very good camps put on by Webb School of Knoxville and the zoo, and of course the Tremont puts on programs, Tate's School of Discovery, and there are many sport type programs. Now, the difference between these secular camps and our secular camp is the freedom to discuss belief systems among the campers and among the and with the staff.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because just yesterday we received this personal testimony from a Rationalist of East Tennessee parent whose son has attended Camp Quest, and would like for you all to hear this description of the impact this camp can have on the lives of children who attend. Jack loves Camp Quest. He's 10 and an atheist. He enjoys discussing philosophy and thought experiments and what ifs. That's what he gets to do at Camp Quest. We bring up topics like, what is the purpose of life? Or how do you determine what is right and what is wrong? And we let the kids explore and discuss these tough issues. The kids appreciate that they get to do the talking and exploring. For me, the best thing about Camp Quest is to hear the relief from the campers, to finally be in an environment where they can talk about their beliefs without fear. I can't communicate clearly enough to portray these campers' emotions when they realize they are no longer worried about the judgment of other kids and adults. This judgment and obstacle is lifted away when they reach Camp Quest. Like a huge heavy weight is lifted off their entire body. It is liberating for them and allows them to go and enjoy the summer camp experience to its fullest. I think that is a lovely testimonial from a parent of a child who went to Camp Quest.
Indeed. The first season that Camp Quest returned, it was my first experience with any children's summer camp, and that was one thing that really hooked me and made me firmed up my commitment to supporting this camp. That the children, and some of them were very sophisticated in their explanation of their belief system, but the children expressed the fact that they reveled in the freedom. Now, not all children coming to the camp have experienced problems with their peers, but there were others who let their beliefs be known to supposed friends. In some cases, the friends would then shun them, but in other cases, one camper related that the parents of one of their friends forbade them to associate with the camper.
And I was afraid you were going to mention ridicule, because frequently when children share these deeply personal characteristics with other children, we know how cruel kids can be, and particularly in an atmosphere where almost everyone there is going a certain route. They're all attending the regular church and the regular Sunday school, and so for a child to stand up and say, no, I'm not doing that, is putting himself out there, or herself, to become a subject of ridicule.
And indeed, this is not limited to just the children. We have many closeted atheists, actually are humanists, and agnostics and so on, who are concerned about letting their beliefs be known for fear of jeopardizing their job, their standing in the community, or their family.
Children are frequently hesitant to say, I'm an atheist, and I happen to recall the personal story of one of our local Unitarian Universalist ministers, who tells the very cute story that as a child, the children were asking him what church did he go to and what did he believe, and he was very young at the time, and he said, I'm an amethyst. And I just thought that was the most darling thing. He didn't quite have a handle on atheist yet, but he was an amethyst. That's a beautiful thing to be, too.
Yeah, one of our 8-year-old campers who came to Camp Quest, kind of naive in these areas, when she went back home, she told her grandfather, she said, I found out I am a freethinker.
Oh, very good. What a nice thing for a child to learn at such an early age, because then all through the rest of their life, they will think of themselves as someone who has the ability to think freely. I mean, what more could we wish for our children? That's just wonderful. Well, now let me ask you one other question here to just get back to the mechanics of managing a camp like this, Jonas. And I will again invite parents and grandparents to please give us a call. We're getting near the end of our show here. The number is 215-2288. It may just be so late in the year it's too early for people to be thinking about summer camp yet, but we'd like to give you information on this. Now, could you deal a little bit with the financial cost of your camp and tell us if there are any camperships or financial aid available for qualified campers?
Oh, this is an area that's troubling me greatly right now.
I'm sure,
Sarah. The cost of rental of our facilities has gone up 50% in the past 3 years.
That's a lot.
While we have held our registration cost constant.
Excuse me,
I understand that we have a caller coming, so let's see. Caller? thank you for calling. Could you give us your name or a nickname, please?
Yeah, my name's Ned. I'm a grandparent, and I've been watching your show, and it's kind of intriguing. My grandson, my daughter, who is trying to raise him to be tolerant of other people and trying to raise him with different beliefs and taught him about different religions. And I think Camp Quest might be right down my grandson's alley. I'm a little leery, though, and I'm just wondering if you guys couldn't put us or put him, even in fact, in touch with some of the people who've been to Camp Quest. He's 11 years old, and if he met somebody else who's been to Camp Quest and could tell him one-on-one about it, would that something you could work out?
That's an interesting question.
I'm sure we could work that out.
Yes, I would think so, and I can see why it would be helpful if I were a grandparent and I was considering sending my child to this place. It would be good to have that child speak with someone else who had gone, like this letter I read from the parent, so they could share child to child what their experiences were and what it meant to them.
Yeah, after the camp, the kids continue to communicate among themselves.
Yes, and now everybody has email. Isn't that wonderful?
Actually, the mechanics, I'll have to think about it, but one way of doing it might be to send out an email to the campers and tell them that here's a child that's interested. Would any of you please talk with him?
That's a good idea. You could do it by email, and then they could communicate with the potential camper to give him or her information about.
Believe me, the kids can do this on their own. They'll do it by Twitter or whatever. But to get this set up, could I contact you through your website or something?
Yes. If you look at our website, it's Smoky Mountains. Well, there's a couple of website addresses: smokymountains.camp-quest.org, or through the Rationalist.
Lean over a little bit so they can see it on the screen behind us. There it is. www.camp-quest.org,
or rationalist.org/CQ for Camp Quest. And if you go to the Rationalist of East Tennessee website, then there's a banner at the top, and if you just click on that, it will transfer
you right to the Camp Quest.
To the Camp Quest, yes.
But that was an excellent question, caller. Thank you, and we'll use that in the future.
Do you have anything else?
No, thank you for answering.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Let's see, what was I going to say now?
I was asking you about the financial problems, and you were telling me of your great distress.
Yes. I still haven't fixed our camp fees for the coming year, but that will be soon. We expect the camp to be the first week of August this year.
Oh, first week of August.
We do have camperships that are available, partial camperships usually. Part of it is, through the Helen Kagan Fund. But, and we have donors within our organization who also contribute to this. So, let's see, now we must
think about winding it up. Yes.
It's time to start wrapping things up. If you would like to send us feedback, please email us at freethoughtforum@yahoo.com. And you can call this station, 215-8848, and purchase a DVD of this and past Freethought Forum programs. This has been Freethought Forum with Jonas Holdeman and
Shara Chadwick.
Our thanks to Faithless Forrest, Larry, Sam for technical help, and to the staff of CTV, and to all of our callers. Thank you.
Thank you.